How are we doing, guys? Chelsea 3, Leeds 1, post-match review of the game. And to be honest, guys, just feel flat. I just feel flat, to be honest. Just wasn't our night. I think that's probably the most simple way we can put it. It just was not our night, and it's the truth, really. We just weren't at it. And yeah, we just faced a team of top quality, if we're being honest. A top quality team. There's no doubt about that. There's serious quality in that Chelsea team. There's plenty of world-class players in that Chelsea team, and we just have to accept that. We just weren't at it ourselves. Chelsea, played really well, and ultimately that's why you see the result we see. It probably could have been more, if I'm being honest. I tend to try and be as positive as I can, but if I'm being honest on the balance of play, it probably should have been more. Look, it's just one of those things tonight. It really is one of those things tonight. Obviously the teams, Chelsea made 2 changes. Obviously Havertz came in for Kovacic, and Giroud came in for Abraham after scoring 4 in midweek. And to be honest, I think Giroud was outstanding on the night. I know he had a couple of chances, but he scores the equalising goal. But that's the quality you're facing here. Tammy Abraham comes out, and then they bring in Olivier Giroud, who's won World Cups. He's won almost everything in the game. So that sums up the quality, really. And that's ultimately really what I think it went down to. I don't think there was anything specifically tactically that we did bad. Let's not forget, we made a really good start to the game. I know it feels like a long distant memory now since that Bamford goal, but we did make a really good start to the game. Even when they made it 1-1, we had little bits and pieces and moments, but it was just the second half was a bit flat, really. I think obviously Chelsea had, I think it's 25 shots to our 9. It does show it was quite a dominant performance from Chelsea, and it was, in all honesty. Chelsea did towards what we did to Everton last week, what we did to Arsenal, a couple of weeks ago, and that's what you get in this league. There is going to be the odd game like this, and especially against the top 6, away from home, and obviously, going into the game after Bielsa and Lampard, a bit of history there. I'm not going to go back over that because it's just boring now. You kind of thought maybe it was a bit of a closer game than what we really appreciated, in terms of the quality difference. I certainly didn't really appreciate it. I'll openly admit to that. I didn't really appreciate the difference in quality between the 2 teams, but looking at it on the pitch, it did tell, all in all, but at the end of the day, it's just one of those things tonight. I'm not going to get too downhearted about it. We've got 2 home games coming up, and I'm confident we'll be on it. We've had a couple of blows this season, and we've all responded really well. And the fact we've got a game coming up so soon, a game after that coming up again, I'm not too bothered, guys. Look, I'm disappointed to lose the game. It's always disappointing to lose the game, especially as Chelsea. First game back, since in 16 years since we played them in the league. It's disappointing, to lose the game. But yeah, we're straight back into it. We are straight back into it. But our team, obviously we saw Alioski play at left back, and it was the same team as we played against Everton. And there was no real reason to massively change it. Obviously Rodrigo is the player we've wanted to see in the starting 11, but I saw why we stayed with the same team. When you produce such a dominant performance against Everton, you kind of have to stick with the same team. So I understand that. I'm not going to criticise that. I'm not going to criticise any individuals, anything tactically. I just think it was quality. That was all it was for me today. I'm not going to say we're all of a sudden this poor team. You're not going to come up against people like Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner, Olivier Giroud, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount. You're not going to come up against players of that quality every single week. And when you do, you've got to be absolutely on it. You've got to be absolutely on it to get a result. Look, against Liverpool and Man City, we were absolutely outstanding in both games. We still only got a point ultimately. You've got to be outstanding in the game to get anything. To have any hope of getting anything in games like that. And we weren't tonight, if we're being honest. We weren't tonight. But, again, it was more, I don't think it was a fact we were that bad. I just think Chelsea just pressed us that well. I think you've got to give credit to Chelsea as well. And as much as I don't want to do that, I always try and be objective and honest in my analysis on these kind of things, because it's no good as me, saying Chelsea were bad, because Chelsea aren't bad. Chelsea were a good team. But yeah, no. First half, I thought we were contenders in that first half. Obviously we go in level, no problem at all. It feels good going in level. Chelsea have had a couple of chances. That Timo Werner miss. How Timo Werner's not scored tonight, I don't know. Some of the worst misses I think you'll ever see. Especially that chance, when we were 1-up, sort of 10 minutes into the game, he misses it. I don't know how he missed it. It's hard to score. He actually stops the goal, and then hits the bar. I don't know how he's done it. I really don't know how he's done it. It is miss of the season, that one. And yeah, look, I think our press was really good in the first half. You know, obviously we forced Chilwell into a lot of mistakes. You know, we forced Ben Chilwell into a lot of mistakes. Thiago Silva into a lot of mistakes. You know, Kurt Zouma into a lot of mistakes. You know, I think it's only really Reece James who looked properly assured at that back five. You know, even Mendy was making a couple of mistakes, and that was because of our press. And look, we made a couple of mistakes as well. Llorente gave the ball away in a bad area, as did Medlier. We got away with it. But yeah, you know, the fact we forced Chelsea into mistakes at times was good. You know, we competed well in the first half. I think maybe Chelsea was slightly on top of that first half on chances created, but you know, I thought we competed pretty well in that first half. There's nothing to be too downhearted about in that first half. And let's just remember, it's not been a poor 90 minutes. It's just been a poor second half. It happens in this league. I think obviously the fact it's just happened, you know, it's raw. Nothing's ever as bad as what it seems, and nothing's ever as good as what it seems. You know, it's always some kind of way in the middle. You know, that's the key thing to point out. You know, nothing's ever as bad as it seems. Now it's just the fact it could have been more kind of makes it feel worse, but that's just one of those things. Just look at my notes a little bit here. Anything else I wanted to kind of mention? You know, I think the thing is as well, we stayed in the game, which what I take as a massive positive as well. Even when Chelsea, you know, were massively on top, you know, in that second half, they were still only 2-1 up right until the last seconds of the game. You know, the fact is we competed. We still gave ourselves a chance to stay in the game. You know, last minute blocks, Meslier saves. You know, we kept ourselves in the game. That's sometimes what you got to do. You know, I think under Bielsa, it's been very rare. I think that's probably the most dominance I've seen a team play against Bielsa. Probably have to go back to maybe the Norwich game in Bielsa's first season. You know, I can't really think of anything else, to be honest. I can't really think of anything else, you know, where we've really been outplayed in it for a long period of a game. In that second half, we were outplayed, in all honesty. But you know, that's a fact. That's a fact of the matter. I think that's the first time I think we've really seen it under Bielsa, and that's why it feels so bad, because it's so rare to see. But you know, you're going to get that from time to time in this league. I think us less than other teams. You know, us less than other teams. You know, and it's one of those things. I think we've played 11 games now, and I think really in 9 of those games we've given ourselves a really good chance to get something out of the game. That's a positive take. You know, we've only really been outplayed properly once or twice. I think tonight being one of those games. So yeah, you know, we've got to keep perspective. You know, we're almost a third of the way into the season. We look well placed. We're pretty far clear of the relegation zone, so I'm not concerned about anything like that at this moment in time. And I don't think, as things stand, I don't think that's going to be a concern throughout the season. But as I say, nothing's ever quite as good as what it seems. I think after Everton, you know, I just thought the way we performed, and I think the fact of the matter is, had we won tonight, we'd have only been a point off the top 4. That's why it seems so much better than what it actually is, because you know, you're asking us to beat Chelsea there away from home, and it's difficult. You know, we are a newly promoted team. We have to remember that, guys. We have to keep perspective. I know we've got so many quality players in this team, but the perspective is still key. You know, the perspective is still so key. But yeah, you know, I'll just look at anything else. You know, obviously the great start. You know, what a fantastic goal we score. What a fantastic goal it is. You know, we break away. KP's got one down the line. He plays it first time into Paddy Bamford. Paddy Bamford's shown great composure. He takes it around Mendy. He scores the goal. And you just don't see it at that point of the game. You know, our record under Bielsa when we score first, you just don't see the game developing the way it did. You just don't see that. But unfortunately, it goes the other way. And you know, I think obviously the fact Chelsea score, you know, within kind of like 20 minutes of us getting the opening goal, it's just the way it develops, really. You know, it's just one of those things. And you know, I think, look, there's a bit of criticism, you know, in terms of the goals we give away. You know, the goals we give away, in terms of the first goal, Harrison doesn't track James. Second goal, you know, the second goal, Zuma's completely free in the box. You know, even before he makes the run, no one's picking him up. No one's really seeing Zuma's run. Disappointing. Again, on the set piece, Chelsea's set piece threat was pretty good throughout the night, really. You know, Mason Mount's delivery was superb. I think it was a really good performance off Mason Mount, to be honest. And obviously the third goal, Coops gives it away really cheaply, you know, in Chelsea's half. And Chelsea, to be fair, show that quality. You know, really, it's a nothing situation. You know, Pulisic receives the ball, you know, still in Chelsea's half of the pitch, but it shows that quality. And that's the thing, that quality to get round, play the ball down the line to Werner, and he just carries on his run. And ultimately, that is what you face. You know, when you give the ball away in dangerous areas, sometimes you do get punished, and that's what you can come to expect sometimes in this league. You know, and I think obviously the goals was one thing, but I think the amount of times we gave the ball away in our own half of the pitch, you know, and I don't want us to put our foot through it. I don't want us to put our foot through it. Our big strength is playing at the back, you know, playing possession-based football, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna be knee-jerk and say we need to change the whole way we play, but I just thought in that first half, it was a lot of unnecessary risks, you know, sometimes when the simple pass was on. I'm not saying we need to hoof it down the line and get banned for chasing it down the line and play, you know, long ball. I don't want us to play like that. I want us to carry on playing football. I just thought sometimes we overcomplicated things for overcomplicating things' sake. You know, you saw Llorente try and cut in on his left foot and play a square pass across the box. I don't know what Llorente was trying to do there. Mellier's trying to play the square pass into Alien, it's not got there. Just trying to overcomplicate things, and it's not a lack of quality. You know, in this game, yes, Chelsea have more quality. That is objectively true. Chelsea are pushing for a title this season. We are not. But we've got the quality against 95% of teams to just play through the back and play through the press. Today, Chelsea's press was really good, and we have to accept that. But I just thought we overcomplicated things sometimes in that first half. And second half, we just couldn't really get anything going. You know, there wasn't really any tempo to our game. You know, we couldn't really make the ball stick in the final third. You know, we didn't really get click. Rodrigo got on the ball a couple of times when he came on, but even KP wasn't quite as influential on the ball. It just seemed everyone's level seems to just drop a little bit in the first half, and in the second half, sorry, from the first half, and that's just the way it goes, really. You know, and I just think, you know, obviously against Chelsea, we put them under good pressure. You know, I think certainly first half, some really good pressing schemes. You know, everyone's pressing as a unit, making it really difficult for them to play through, using the fullbacks as pressing triggers, and just making it really, really difficult for Chelsea to play through. Every time the ball went out wide, we closed off the space. We used it, you know, we made it really difficult for him. We forced Chilwell into long balls down the line. Sometimes just simply kicking the ball out of play. You know, we saw it a couple of times with Chilwell, Havertz. You know, and the fact is, Chelsea really got to grips with it in the second half. You know, I think sometimes when we try to press, you just saw Kante simply dribble through it. Mount just dribble through it, take on 2 or 3 players and get out away on the attack. You know, Pulisic, you know, how many times do you see him pick the ball up in really non-dangerous areas and then dribble 10, 20 yards and take the ball into dangerous areas and make something happen? And that's ultimately what Chelsea can do. But I don't know, you know, other than Liverpool and City and maybe Tottenham, I don't think 15 out of the other 20 teams, I don't think they've got the quality to do that. So you're just going to face that sometimes. And I think in terms of how we pressed against Liverpool and City, it was spot on. Today, Chelsea just had the composure to play through it. And that's a sign of a really good team with really good players. Really good players are able to take the ball in the half turn, under pressure, and get themselves out of it on their own. You know, dribble the way out of it, play across field or into the wingers. You know, they've got that quality to do that. Play good passes, dangerous passes, break the lines. And that's just why Chelsea have paid big money for some of these players. You know, big money to play for some of these players. You know, Kai Havertz. You know, I didn't even think Kai Havertz was particularly good today. You know, he got subbed off with 20 minutes to go, but they still paid 76 million for him. You can see why. You know, from 1 or 2 touches. Timo Werner, 50 million to pay for him. Massive threat, but you can see why they paid this money. Christian Pulisic came on, 60 million. You can see why they paid the money. The players are worth that kind of money because of how they've elevated Chelsea's performances. And it really, really hurts to say this, but as I say, I try and be objective with it. And yeah, you know, obviously their recruitment's been really good. And yeah, fair play. You know, obviously we did a lot of mocking before the game, and I think rightly so. You know, Bielsa has had Lampard's number before this game in 3.5 out of the 4 games, but today, you know, Lampard got his tactics spot on. I never really saw his Derby team press us that high. He just knew that pressing us high, we could force, you know, us into mistakes. You know, they could force us into mistakes, and you know, ultimately we didn't force them into mistakes. You know, they forced us into mistakes. We didn't really force them into enough mistakes. And you know, in the second half, you know, and I don't know, I'm rambling now, aren't I? I'm totally rambling now, and I'm just, you know, stunned by the second half, really. You know, because we're just so unused to seeing that under Bielsa. I think under Gary Monk, Thomas Christiansen, all these other managers we've had, Steve Evans, we saw it on a regular basis what we saw. But today it shows how far we've come. It shows how far we've come. We've lost 3-1 to Chelsea and we're downhearted. You know, I'm never happy to lose a game, but the fact is, we were in the game until the 90+2nd minute. We were well in the game until the 90+2nd minute. Maybe not in terms of performance, but in terms of scoreline. 2-1's always a dangerous scoreline. You need one chance to score a goal. One chance, and we're always likely to get it. But you know, ultimately, the fact is we're disappointed as a newly promoted club. That shows how far we've come. That shows how far we've come as a football club. And and we're just at a different stage to Chelsea. Chelsea are pushing for titles. We're a newly promoted team. With the way our recruitment's going, hopefully, if we keep building, keep getting these calibre of players in this team, Rodrigo coming on, Spain's number 9, Rafinha, a future Brazilian international, Calvin Phillips getting in the England squad, Mateusz Klich, a Polish international. If we keep bringing in these players at this calibre, we're not a long way off. We're not a long way off. You can't tell me from that Everton and Arsenal game this team's a long way off. It's not. I'm not saying pushing for titles, I just mean pushing up the table. I think we're 12th, 13th at the minute. I do think we're better than that. I think certainly at the minute we're better than that. And I think as the season goes on, the fixture list becomes a little bit kinder. We've played a lot of the top teams already. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, probably 3 of the best 4 teams. After Tottenham, we've played these teams already. And we've still got, a long way to go. And we've got, Liverpool and Chelsea still to play at home. We've played the Anfield, Stamford Bridge already. And we're still in a really good shape, at the end of the day. I think obviously there's areas to improve. There is areas to improve for us. I think obviously defending the set pieces. Chelsea carried that big aerial threat in Giroud, Havertz, Silva, Zuma, obviously who scored, and that's something I think we've got to improve on a little bit. I think obviously the big factor was, I think the biggest factor of all was Robin Koch having to come off. I've not even spoken about that. Robin Koch having to come off was less than ideal, and that massively hurt us in terms of defending set pieces. I just think, I won't even say passing out the back's a weakness, because it's obviously not. It's obviously not. I'm being daft if I say it is. It's just the fact Chelsea pressed us so well. It's been fine in every other game. Let's chill out about that. Let's chill out about that. But there's some really positive individual performances, I think defensively, I think Liam Cooper's, Diego Llorente. I think Llorente especially, full credit to him. I know we conceded 3 goals, but his performance was good today. Considering it's his debut, coming on midway through the game at Stamford Bridge, never ideal, and I thought he gave a good account of himself. A couple of daft mistakes, but the fact of the matter is he did well for me. I thought he did a decent job all in all on Giroud. And Giroud wasn't having a poor game by any stretch of the imagination. Giroud's on top form at the minute, and I think he did a relatively decent job on him. Ultimately, we'll probably have to see that first goal back again as to who lost Giroud in the box, but even Coop's first half I thought was outstanding. It was an outstanding first half of Liam Cooper. It was an outstanding first half of Mateusz Klich. Calvin Phillips was outstanding in the first half, but I think everyone's level dropped a bit in the second. Meslier was as good as ever. Rafinha showed some nice touches. Paddy Bamford's got himself a goal. Some really positive individual performances, and as I say, it's never as bad as what it seems. We go again against West Ham. Some positive performances. I don't want to see us completely change things. Just on set pieces, if Robin Koch's out for a long period of time, we've got to sort that out, because I don't think we've got anyone else as aerially dominant as Robin Koch. Maybe Llorente, but again, it's still early on in Llorente's Leeds career. But yeah, all in all, fair play to Chelsea. It hurts to admit it, but I've got to admit it after what I said in the pre-match. Feeling confident going into the game. Chelsea are a better team than I think they are, than I thought they were going into the game. They clearly are. But we'll have the rematch at not Stamford Bridge, at Ellen Road, later on in the season. And let's see how it goes then. Let's see how much we've progressed as a team when we replay them in April. I'm going to leave it there, guys, anyway. Make sure you check out our other videos, Joe's post-match of the game, and there'll be a player ratings out as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. See you later, guys, and leave us a like. See you later, guys.